What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club. Today, I have a very special treat for you guys, as Keegan from E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Has actually sent me 2 of the top 16 finishing deck lists from this past weekend's in-person RBET in California. These are going to be some very interesting lists, especially the Lightsworn list. So, let's go ahead and get started with these things, guys. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Really just motivates me to keep going, getting better at the game, as well as content creation. So when I see you guys hitting that button, tells me that you're enjoying the content and you want more of it, and that's just awesome. So we're going to jump on into this here. The first one we're going to talk about is top 16, Primo Sanchez, his Vayu Turbo list. So let's go over this card for card. We're going to have 2 copies of Armageddon Knight, 1 Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, as well as 3 copies of Sirocco the Dawn, 3 copies of Vayu the Emblem of Honor, 1 Card Trooper, 2 Caius the Shadow Monarch, 1 Dark Arm Dragon, 2 copies of Dark Grepher, 1 copy of Gors, the Emissary of Darkness, 1 Necro Gardener, 1 Plague Spreader Zombie, 2 Super Nimble Mega Hamsters, as well as 3 Raikou Lightsworn Hunter, rounds off the monster card count here. Going into spells, we have 1 Allure of Darkness, 1 Brain Control, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Burial from a Different Dimension, and 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Going into trap cards, we have 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Starlight Road, 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Royal Oppression, the holy group of one-ofs there. All right, geez. Holy Batman. Okay. Next, we have 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole and 3 copies of Dimensional Prison, rounds off this 40-card Vayu Turbo deck. Going into the side deck, we have 2 DD Crow. We also have 2 of Deck Devastation Virus, aka destroy frog players for their life savings, 2 copies of Dust Tornado, 2 copies of Fossil Dyna, 1 copy of Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer, 3 copies of Pulling the Rug, 1 Royal Oppression, and 2 Thunder King Ryo. Awesome to see Thunder King being included in here. One of my favorite cards in the format. Extra deck, very standard. Not going to go over this card for card here. You guys probably know all this by now. We do have the inclusion of Red Dragon Archfiend. Sometimes people play that card. Sometimes they don't. So, congratulations to you, Primo, for making top 16 at the IRL RBET with your Vayu Turbo deck. Next, we're going to talk about the one you guys have all been waiting for. I have ×2's top 16 Lightsworn deck. This is also, I would say this is like Lightsworn with a hint of Christia Sworn. So ×2 did top a pretty major event a couple months ago. I can't remember what the event was off the top of my head. Do forgive me. But you can actually find the deck analysis of his other deck on the channel. So this is his new take on this. And ever since I saw him playing on stream, I wanted to see this deck list. So let's go over this, guys. We have 1 Arcus Lightsworn Druid, 1 Card Trooper, 2 copies of Celestia. This is straying away from the triple copies of Celestia that normally you see included in Christia Sworn. We have 1 Aaron Lightsworn Monk, 1 Garoth, 1 Gors, triple copies of Herald of Orange Light, the most powerful hand trap in the format, because it's the only real hand trap of the format aside from DD Crow. 2 copies of Honest, 2 copies of Archlord Christia. Like I said at the start of this one, I feel like this is Lightsworn with a splash of Christia, because normally you're going to see these numbers very differently in Christia Sworn. You're going to see 3 copies of Celestia. You're going to see 3 copies of Christia. You're going to see probably 3 copies of Soul Impurity and Light. So I really do like these numbers that he chose to play. We have 2 copies of Jane Lightsworn Paladin. A new inclusion, we have 1 Genis Lightsworn Mender. If you're not familiar with Genis, you're not a real Lightsworn fan. So we're going to get past you. No, I'm just kidding. Genis is a level 4 light spellcaster monster, 300 attack, 2100 defense. Holds up pretty good against Hero Beat, just having the 2100 defense points. She says, during the end phase, if a card or cards was sent from your deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Lightsworn card this turn. This is very important, the fact that this says Lightsworn card, not monster effect. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent, and if you do, gain 500 life. You're going to see why this is important very soon. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Judgment Dragon, 1 copy of Lumina, 2 copies of Lila. I believe in his other list he also played triple Lila, so he cut down on Lila. 1 copy of Plague Spreader, 3 Raikos, 1 Shire. I did hear that he was busting out some pretty big attack points on this card over the course of the weekend. 2 copies of Solar Purity and Light will round off this monster card count here. Going into spells, very simple. We only have 4 of them. We have 1 Charge with Light Brigade and triple Solar Recharge. Going into traps, we have 2 Beckoning Light, 1 Call of the Haunted, 2 Glorious Illusion, 1 Lightsworn Barrier, and 1 Mirror Force. So, ×2 was the first guy to really take Glorious Illusion and really just take it to the next level, top an event with it. Now, this card is fairly standard in Lightsworn from a card that I don't think actually even saw play back in the day, let alone in 2023 Edison until a few months ago. So it's very awesome to be able to see this card being played and it actually be good. You do notice here that there's no Graganith in this list. I would be curious to know why he chose to cut Graganith. So maybe if he sees this video, maybe he can comment down below and tell us a little bit of insight about that. Then we have 1 Lightsworn Barrier, which is the new inclusion. The first person I saw to do anything with Barrier was actually Hydro Pump when he played his 60 card list featuring this card. Now, this is where this can get important. You see that Genis Lightsworn Mender gains and burns if a Lightsworn card used its effect this turn. So, Lightsworn Barrier does happen to be a Lightsworn card. Lightsworn Barrier says when a Lightsworn monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then target the attacking monster and negate that attack. So I'm assuming there were probably times where he had like a Barrier, a Genis, and like a Arcus face up, so you can't target Lightsworns and you can't attack Lightsworns. And if you do, you lose 500 and I gain 500. So very cool here. It's also cool that Genis is on the card art for Lightsworn Barrier, so it's like they were just meant to work together. All right, that rounds off the main deck. Going into the side, we have 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, 1 Fossil Dyna, 1 Snowman Eater, 1 Trunade, 1 Heavy. Didn't choose to include any form of back row removal in the main deck. That's nothing outside of the ordinary for Christiasworn. You do have cards like Lila. You have cards like Raikou. He is playing Judgment Dragon after all, so you have lots of ways to be able to get rid of back row, Celestia. Also, this deck having the 3 Orange Light as well as having Plague Spreader helps get you into your synchro plays much more frequently than that of pure Lightsworn, when most of the time your only tuner is Plague Spreader Zombie. So we have 1 Lightning Vortex, I assume to clear stuff like Vanity's Fiend, Fossil Dyna, anything that you'd want to get over big boards. We have the MST in here for the Light Mirror, Royal Decrees, Too Good Not to Play, 2 Mask of Restrict, 1 Compulse, and double Royal Oppression rounds off the side deck. We will go over the extra deck really quickly here. There are a couple cards that are a little less commonly played. So we have 1 Catastor, 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern, 1 Armory Arm, 1 Avenging Knight Parshath, 1 Black Rose, 1 Brio, 2 Chimeratech Fortress, 1 Colossal, 1 Goyo, 1 Android, 1 Mistworm, 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Tempest Magician, and 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend. Rounds off ×2's top 16 Lightsworn list. As a fellow Lightsworn enthusiast, it's really awesome to see him top with a list like this, kind of combining Christiasworn and pure Lightsworn and adding in new elements like Illusion and Lightsworn Barrier. So once again, special shout outs to Keegan from E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! For hooking me up with these 2 lists. He's an awesome guy. We are going to have Keegan on the podcast very soon. We're trying to work out a time with him. We've had some conflictions in our scheduling. He's a couple hours, I believe, either ahead or behind him. He's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, so a few hours difference there. So we're going to work on getting him scheduled, and we're going to get him on the podcast soon. And it's going to be an awesome episode. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, guys, I am very happy to have been able to cover these deck lists. So thank you guys for watching. And this is Mike from the Edison Club signing out until the next one. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please make sure that you head on over to Keegan's channel, E3 Yu-Gi-Oh, and check out his content as well. Odds are, if you like mine, you'll like his just the same, maybe even more. He has a lot of coverage on the entire RBET. You can also watch the entire stream. He has loads of different kinds of content that you can check out. He currently has 10.9K subscribers and is on the road to hitting 40K. So if you can help him out in his journey, that would be awesome. Thank you, guys.